Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Random. Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have, what again, a great show for you today. As you can see, we are in a different studio right now. We're not with our green screen and all the fancy stuff right now because we're here at KPFT 90.1 FM. This is our main studio, and it turns out that I be here because we are going to be following El Señor Beto O'Rourke and Abbott today. So instead of driving all the way back to Kingwood, say, well, let's go ahead and stay out here. Anyway, folks, how are you doing? Michael Rudden is in the house. We also have Alistair Waters. Greetings, Alistair. How are you doing? Alistair, you need to come into the studio with me sometime when we get things all straightened up and in better working order. But as you can see right now, we are in the studio. Manuel Herrera, ¿cómo estás, mi amigo? Hello from Seguin. ¿Cómo estás, my friend? Eric Hayes is back in the house as well. Eric, how are you doing today, my friend? My favorite conservative. Well, I should say one of my favorite conservatives. How you guys doing, man? Look, this setup, I kind of had to rush to do some configuration. And guess what, guys? It actually worked. It actually worked with this quick setup, quick turnaround, but it's good. Hi, bud, is what he says. Anyhow, let's go ahead. Mr. Rudnan says, my uncle turned 101 today, leaving shortly for a family get-together birthday party. I'll be back tomorrow, he says. People magazine, at least 21 people are dead and thousands are unaccounted for as Hurricane Ian is set to make second landfall. More than 700 people had been rescued in both Charlotte and Lee counties in Florida, but the death toll is expected to rise in coming days. Again, I spoke about this in my earlier show today that it kind of drives you crazy, right? This mentality of not listening to those who care about us, not listening to those who we pay our taxes to give us advice, cause you to die. You take a look at what happened with COVID, same thing. We just have a sect in this country who believe that ignorance is bliss. Well, in this case, ignorance kills. In this case, ignorance kills. Thank you for that one, Senor Rudnin. The Guardian, Ron DeSantis changes with wind as Hurricane Ian prompts flip-flop on aid. The Florida governor put politics aside to ask Biden for federal aid, unlike when he voted against help send the victims. Remember that? I've seen the same. Let's put politics aside during emergencies from conservatives in the chat here, but only when it's a red state suffering the disaster. We can help those in the trouble and address the underlying causes at the same time. Exactamente. You have to address them all at the same time. Next one from El Señor Rudnin, The Guardian. Ginni Thomas still believes Trump's false claims. I don't know if I'm going to read that one because that's the video that I'm covering today. We have a video from this morning where it is shown that it is so amazing. This woman is enchanted with being. Let's not go there. Let's not go there. Okay. Michael Rondon also says, defiant Putin proclaims Ukraine annexation as military setback looms. Yeah, they're continuing to take territory that he's supposedly claiming right now. Vladimir Putin proclaimed Russia's annexation of a swath of Ukraine in a pomp-filled Kremlin ceremony, promising Moscow would triumph in its special military operations, even as he is faced a potentially serious new military reversal. The Russian president's proclamation of Russian rule over 15% of Ukraine, the biggest annexation in Europe since World War II. Even the Crimea wasn't as big as I recall, right? The Crimea wasn't that big. Well, it's big, but not that big. was roundly rejected by Ukraine and Western countries, with the United States and Britain announcing new sanctions. Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky said the country has submitted a fast track application to join the NATO military alliance and that he would not hold peace talks with Russia while Putin was still president. Hey, this is how world wars start, folks. This is how world war starts. I don't know what the answers are, but this is how world war starts. All right, next one from Common Dreams. Next one from Common Dreams says their price strategies are bearing fruit. Oil and gas profits surged 340%. Rakim Mahmoud, chief economist and managing director of policy and research at the Groundwork Collaborative, said policymakers must address corporate profiteering as a driver of inflation by reining in mega corporations and addressing the unsustainability, high prices facing families around the country. Corporate price gouging is the primary cause of the inflation, and that will remain the case despite conservative protesters. Hey, yeah, Manuel Herrera, welcome aboard. Eric Hayes, welcome aboard. Chuck Pinaccio, how are you doing, my friend? Why do fascists call themselves conservatives? I don't know. I don't know, Pinaccio. You know what? Just maybe there's something we didn't realize, right? All right, Eric Hayes says, Rudnin, your uncle 101, nice. Did he fight in World War II? I imagine if he's that old, he probably did, huh? Eric Hayes says, yes, letting the likes of Fauci get rich during the pandemic, BS as, okay, look. Eric, I saw the article that you sent, and I kept on looking in the article to see if there was insider trading. Couldn't find any. The article was an article that just says, by the way, his assets went from 2 million to 5 million, or he made $5 million. And everybody go crazy. Go crazy. Alistair Waters, tomorrow ask Egberto anything. I should be doing it between 11 Central and 12:30, about 12:45, because I have to go get my Omicron vaccine at CVS. My daughter made the reservations and she made it on that time, so I had no control over that. But it's all good. It's all good because I just need to speak with my peeps for a little bit, make sure all is good, and then take off. But you know what? If folks want, we can have another one as well. Anyhow, Eric Hayes says, not good. Why would Biden do this over and over again? Yes, he has memory issues. Washington President Joe Biden mistakenly asked whether the late Representative Jackie Wukowski, Republican of Indiana, who died in a car wreck in August, was in attendance during the speech. Don't you make that kind of mistake? I do. I do. So, hey, I know you guys would like, I know you guys would like to make Biden to be just a Reagan-esque creature that was out of his mind while he governed. I know that's what you want to do. But I don't know if that's possible given the active mindset of Biden. Look, I am not a Biden fan. I'm not a neoliberal, okay? I am not a neoliberal. I'm a true, real progressive. So I want progressive values, bar none. Biden is the best we could get given the formulation of the Democratic Party and Republicans that are voting their interest. That's all we could get. That's all. Bridge MCP, how you doing, Bridge? Welcome aboard. Alistair, so yes, as I said, tomorrow I will have the Ask Egberto Anything, but, we're going to have to shut it down early. Yvette Avery Herod, our union specialist. Yvette, did you see what occurred in San Francisco? Did you see how that union pulled it out? Let me hear a little bit of words from you on that, Yvette. Let me hear some words on you on that. Eric Hayes, Egberto, when did America profess alliance with communist North Korea? Never, but Donald Trump did. He went ahead and said, I love the love letters that I communicate with Xi Jinping. I love those, not Xi Jinping, the president of, I forgot his name, of North Korea. He loved them. He loved them. So before you go ahead and try to bring our vice president into this, do your homework. It is Donald Trump who was fine with breaking bread with the president of North Korea. Again, please, por favor, do your homework. All right, we've all made mistakes and misspeak. Don't sweat the petty stuff and don't pet the sweaty stuff. You mean petting the sweaty stuff like that? I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Alistair Waters, you need an invite. Go to politicsandright.com/ask Egberto. Let me put it out here. Bear with me 1 second. HTTP // politics done right. I think that's spelling it right. .com/ask Egberto. I think that still works. I'm going to try it now that I gave it to you and make sure that it still works. And voila, it works. It works. So you can just go ahead and hit that link and we will be okay. Hit that link and we'll be okay. All right, let's see. Michael Rodnan has to go out with his 101-year-old. Hey, look, that he's lived a great life. He's lived a great life. Okay, let's see. Lee Grant. Let's see. Before I get to Lee Grant. Okay, let's see. I'm coming down. I'm coming down. All right. Alistair needs an invite. Alistair, I just put the link in there. Just click on it and you got your invite. Beautiful. All right, let's see what else we got here. Lee Grant says, hey, all, Egberto, give Melanie a chance, not a fascist. Who called Melanie a fascist? Melanie is our great lady out in Spain, in Barcelona. Melanie, how is Barcelona today? I know it's great, right? Breeze MCP said, at Egberto Willis, easier to stay at the studio, eh? Yeah, it's easy if I'm going to do the stuff at noon and then do the Beto O'Rourke stuff at 6 p.m. Driving an hour back to King or about 45 minutes back to Kingwood and then back again here was going to take a lot of time. I wanted to bring my daughter with me, but it was going to be too much of a traffic in, so that's why we did it this way. All right, Eric Hayes to Michael Rudden to Eric Hayes. Fauci's 5 million came from his stock portfolio, mutual funds, IRA account, and speeches. Do we care? Fauci is right-wing boogeyman because he occasionally stood up for Trump. Just remember, Trump was responsible for downplaying the pandemic, turning masks and vaccines into culture war issues. Result, an excess of 500,000 Americans that are what? Muertos, dead. Don't forget it. All right, Eric Hayes says, Egberto, do politicians have tone deafness? Yes, they do. So I guess we agree on that, right? Because, I mean, it turns out that they don't follow what the people want, but if a corporation asks for something, they normally get it. And you know what turns it out? They go for who gives them the money because they know that a lot of people are just voting on ideology. We got to change that. That's why we have to unite the left, the right. What do I always say? When we unite the ghettos, the barrios, and Appalachia, we would have won. And that's the truth. We will win. That's all we got to do. Rudnan, what are you still doing here? I thought you were gone. I thought you were gone, Mr. Rudnan. Anyhow, getting back to action. Maywood, welcome aboard. Carl Cox, welcome aboard. Let's see what we got here. Trump's federal judge must been paid good money for doing his bidding. I tell you, she's really, really going her whole way. He's covering the Beto O'Rourke debate this evening. So, folks, don't forget, call in tonight. Whether you're in Texas, or specifically if you're in Texas, give me a call and say, Egberto, or I think I'm going to be doing this with Akua, saying, Akua, how is it going? We are doing this all together. We are doing this all together. Hey, Sue, this is one of our board of directors here on the national board. Tell our audience hi to my mic here.
Hi through your mic.
Great, there you go.
Berto and I suffer through the national board service, and we're so honored.
But you know what? We get it done. We get the work done. Well, I should say not we. Susan gets the work done. All right. Okay. Alistair Waters. See ya, Michael Rudnan, she says. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Robert Davenport says, greetings, progressives. Greetings, progressives. How you doing, Robert? Roberto, great to see you. Eric Hayes says, Bridge MCP should have never been given a platform at all. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Let's see. Chuck Pinaccio says fascism is a bad brand. Fascists project all bad ideologies, including fascism, onto the other. BIPOC, Dems, Antifa, BLM, teachers, LGBTQ+, immigrants, unionists, scapegoats, 101 Spear, attack, blame. I love you, Chuck. You know what? We can always count on you on good analysis. Folks, don't forget, one pair states. Go to onepairstates.com and visit Chuck Pinaccio. Sign up. He's doing great work in single payer healthcare. We need to keep folks like Chuck Pinaccio funded. So don't forget, folks, please support our brother Chuck Pinaccio, who's just visiting with us. Eric Hayes. Oh, by the way, more died during this administration. Okay, of course. Because I wonder why. Let me think. Let me see if I can figure out why. Oh, that's right. He came at at the top of the pandemic. No wonder why. It's just math. It's just math. Norman Reynolds, how is my brother doing? Mi hermano jamaicano favorito, ¿cómo estás? And we have, of course, Kush B, a $0 blessing brother watching from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. You are in the Virgin Islands? I need a vacation. Is anybody going to say, Egberto, let's get you a ticket to the Virgin Islands so that you can tell your good friend, Kush B-O, $. Hi. Hey, Kush, if you have a $$ sign behind your name, does that mean that you're floating in dollars, sir? I don't know. Bridge says, hey, Sue. Bridge saluted Susan. So Susan, Bridge says, hola. All right, let's see what else we got here. Eric Hayes. Melanie Keelan says, here I am. Evening all from Barcelona, Spain. Welcome aboard, our dear Melanie. Eric Hayes, I'm not going to read that one. Daniel Ledo is in the house, my second favorite conservative right-wing brother. He says, Maywood, we can stop trying to censor people. How long until that platform is made unavailable to you? Actually, Daniel Ledo is correct. No, Daniel Ledo is absolutely correct. I am not into the cancel culture on both sides, Daniel. I cop to not being in it. I will go ahead and defend. I will go ahead and do what's necessary, but I don't believe in the cancel culture. I believe in giving everybody the opportunity to speak. Hell, that's why we have Daniel Ledo here. That's why we have Mike Cisak here. That's why we have Brother Eric here. That's why we have Brother Grant here. I have a lot of conservatives in the house. I love you guys. I love you guys. All right, let's continue. Para ver. U.S. District Court Judge Luce Cannon went after U.S. Senator Judge Raymond Dearie, appointed by Luce Cannon as special master. Yes, I saw that one. Who's that from? E2247. E2247, welcome aboard, brother. All right, let's see who else we got here. It looks like we're coming down to the end of all the chat. So let me tell you what I got here for you guys before we get into the subject at hand. Ginni Thomas has gone bat you know what crazy, and she got called out this morning effectively. I want you guys to listen to this. It's the only video I think I have right now, but I may replay another one. We'll take it on the other side. Check this out. We'll take it. I hope it works, but we'll take this on the other side.
Ginni Thomas, the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, was on Capitol Hill yesterday for an in-person interview with the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol. She spoke with members of the panel behind closed doors for about 3.5 hours. Thomas didn't answer any questions from reporters, but here's what Chairman Benny Thompson said about the interview last night.
Did she express her belief that the election was still stolen? Did she believe that?
Yes. Can you characterize what she is not answering, what she's refusing to answer?
No. So you're saying she still believes the 2020 election was stolen?
Yeah.
And she did she?
Thomas first came under scrutiny for sending text messages to Mark Meadows, encouraging then-President Trump not to concede the 2020 election. In her opening statement to the committee yesterday, she said her husband, Justice Thomas, was, quote, completely unaware of my texts with Mark Meadows until this committee leaked them to the press. Her attorney also issued a statement yesterday arguing that her activities relating to the 2020 election were, quote, minimal. Willie, Just the fact that she's still an election denier is staggering to me. It defies every court ruling. It's fair to say it defies logic at this point.
And a proud one as well. We've seen some humility from other people who've been called in front of that panel, realizing that now that the screws are being turned, it's time to admit what's true, that Joe Biden won the 2020 presidential election. Not her. In fact, emerged proudly from that long deposition, smiling and proud of her position on that. So, Ginni Thomas is not a casual wife of Supreme Court Justice, as she's been described. She's been an influential player in Washington for a long time, as you know, as evidenced by her direct access to the White House. Text messages we've all seen now with the White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, pushing him, imploring him to not concede the election and to have Donald Trump hold strong and not concede. She was at the center of this effort to try to stage a coup effectively against the United States government, and now holding strong to that position, which raises all those questions again about Justice Thomas and whether he should recuse himself from anything around the 2020 election.
Yeah, apparently she still believes, Willie. And if you had asked me a few years ago about Ginni Thomas, I would have said she is a, far right Republican activist. But I would have sort of left it there. I mean, now she just appears just to be part of the demented fringe, really. Just so far out there that she can't see reality anymore. The idea, she is the wife of a Supreme Court justice. The idea that someone that close to the pinnacle of judicial power in this country does not believe in our justice system, does not believe in the results of more than 60, court cases or more than 60 judges looking at this question of as if there were a question about the 2020 election and saying, no, this is garbage. This is ridiculous. None of these claims is true. And she rejects all of that. That is irrational is not a strong enough word for it. I just keep coming back to demented. It doesn't make any sense.
And we certainly know, Mika, that some on the right who embraced the idea that the 2020 election was rigged, of course, a false claim, did so for a while and eventually have moved on. She hasn't. She is still saying this now. And let's remember, this isn't just her saying it yesterday, January 6th. This isn't just her texting with Mark Meadows saying, hey, keep up the fight. She also was working with state legislatures, pushing two different states, Wisconsin and Arizona, to seat alternate false set of electors to try to overturn Joe Biden's win. She is in to this up to her neck. And Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, I know she claims that there's a wall between the two of them and they don't speak about this sort of stuff. Let's remember, he was the one dissenting vote in the Trump case about keeping the documents at Mar-a-Lago. And many lawmakers, certainly Democrats, have called for him to recuse himself for any Trump-related efforts going forward. It's hard not to be really worried about the implications of Ginni Thomas's beliefs.
Absolutely so. So Ginni Thomas, it's hard to believe that she hadn't discussed this with her husband. And why was he the only dissenter when it came to Donald Trump papers? Why again? Who knows? Well, we don't know for a fact, but I think I can infer, but I make sure to let folks know that we're just inferring. It's not necessarily a fact. Because what do we only assert facts that are facts. We assert opinions that are opinions. And we insert inferences that are inferences. So that's about it. All right, Bridge MCP says, oh Lord, another SMH time. Yes, Bridge. E2247 says, Wednesday, Trump's lawyers lodged a complaint with the court and about Deary's demand. And he won today, I think. Eric Hayes says, keeping America in the game over the next 6 months, 400. Oh, why are you repeating that? You put that in yesterday. I recalled it because of what I said. All right, Davenport says the wisdom of giving liars a platform is risky at best. I agree. Bridge MCP says, oh, good, that woman, ugh. Ginni needs some jail time, and so does her hubby. Yeah, I don't know what the precedent is for that. Daniel Edo says, I suppose even the devil has admirable uh, qualities. I admire Egberto's tolerance for different opinions. I am glad you admire my tolerance for different opinions because I do tolerate different. Actually, I don't like to use the word tolerance because tolerance almost says you are supporting something that is just wrong. You tolerate something that's just wrong. I don't want to do that. I listen to what folks have to say and I make my analysis based on what folks say, right? That's the best way to do it. So that's what I try to do. Okay, what else have we got here? What else have we got here? Bridge MCP says, oh, so hubby did know I called BS. I agree. And folks, please, as Bridge is suggested, give those thumbs up on Facebook, or rather, give the likes on Facebook, give the thumbs up on YouTube, give the likes on LinkedIn and Twitch, and make sure to follow on Twitter at Egberto Willies. Don't forget, follow on Twitter at Egberto. So all our platforms are covered. And I think today, unlike yesterday, we are streaming to all of them at the same time. You guys are boss, man. You guys are boss. Daniel Edo says, so denying an election makes for what? A criminal, a seditionist, perhaps a traitor or fascist? No, 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 no. You can deny the election as much as you want. That's not the problem. Try to get what the problem is. The problem is if you create an insurrection because you want folks to believe what you believe. That is what's criminal. They actually attacked the Capitol. That is what's criminal. Don't forget it. All right, let's see what else we got here. Eric Hayes says, whoa, still chasing the 2020 stuff? No, you guys are still bringing up the 2020 stuff. Of course, we have to refute it. You can't leave misinformation in the ethos. It develops a life of its own. We can't do that. All right, Robert Davenport, one of my favorite progressives. If you believe Ginni Thomas can interest you in some way, profitable bridges, I have the right to say. Oh, Davenport. Bree says, no, it's minutes from either ignorant or faith. Agree. Norman Reynolds is in the house. Mi hermano, ¿cómo estás, señor? There are no both sides to the fact that GOP politics includes acceptance of fringe ideology. That's the only way they could possibly make 50% plus one. Only way. 50% plus one. Remember those numbers. 50% plus one. Stop sending me junk text, guys. All right, not you, but Bridge MCP says no. It makes her another ignorant, a fake. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Okay. Norman Reynolds says there are no. That's a different one, right? Yeah, that's a different one. All right. Daniel Ledo says Maywood. So you don't believe parents should have a choice in educating their children? Yes, they should have a choice in educating their children. But if you have a parent telling folks that hot water is cold and cold water is hot, or that God is going to make a way for you if you put your fingers in a hot socket, I say you have your right to, there's a right there for you to lose your kid because you're putting a born human being at risk, right? It's that simple. No complexities at all. All right, okay. Where do we go from here? We got a lot of messages again, man. A ton of messages. Let's see. Bridge, don't pet what? Okay. Uh, Bridge MCP says, no chasing it, holding people accountable. I agree. You got to hold people accountable. You got to hold them accountable. All right, what else have we got here? Bridge MCP to Nealon. The sweaty stuff, it means a sexual cut. Ooh, oh my God. Bridge MCP. I didn't know you had that in you. I'm kidding. Manuel Herrera said immigrants are crossing the border in record numbers because they need a better life and there is no shortage of work. Politicians need to stop using Using illegal immigrants as a scare tactic, and lot of chase. If you really don't want them here, huge corporations need to quit funding loopholes. It's that simple. But that's not what they want. If immigrants were all to be dumped out of this country, then that's what happens. All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's see what else we got here. Daniel Lado says, listen to this. Inferring is fine related to Ginni Thomas, but you are a semi-fascist if you make inferences from the very real Hunter laptop. Oh, madre mia, help me, help me, help me. Help me, guys. Help me out here. Okay. Bree says, how come none of your conservatives have noticed the big T behind Egberto Willies? LOL. Wow. You know what? The big T. I see it now. Wow. I see it now. Oh my God. I should say it like this. Oh my gosh. All right. How come none of. Okay. Lee Grant says proud semi fascist here. Lee Grant, I won't tell you again. You are not a fascist, Lee Grant. Okay? You pass all the tests for democracy. Whoo, you guys have a lot of stuff. All right, let's see what else we got here. Um, California doesn't have many hurricanes, but they get fires due in part to a plan for deforestation. True, Eric? Lee Grant, give Meloni a chance. A woman democratically elected, not a fascist. She is a fascist. Sorry. Sorry it hurts, but she's a fascist. Lee Grant says, give, no, that is Deborah Oxford. Deborah Oxford says, Manuel Herrera, listen to a great interview on mothers against Greg Abbott with women running in your ass. In your area. Why did I say that? That must be fatigue kicking in. That is fatigue kicking in, man, because my eyes want to close. Okay, let's see. Melanie Keelan says, Manuel Herrera, listen to a great interview. That's the one. Okay. Ledo now replies and says, so okay, but leftists want to dictate everybody, and the problem is we don't want your disgusting culture. Oh boy. I guess I'm going to have problems going home tomorrow as well. Anyhow, let's see here. Let's see. Going back to whoops. Mention you. Bree says she's mentioned me in a comment. Let's see. Para ver. Robert Davenport says, no, before Davenport. Paul Fleming says, I'm checking in. Welcome aboard, Paul. Robert Davenport says, I come from a proud line of anti-fascists. My father and uncle sent many fascists to that hot place in World War II, America, and fascists since the 1940s. You remember that, man? Okay. Big T is for Texas. Whoop, whoop. I am glad you didn't say Trump, buddy. You're a good guy. All right. Maywood says, Eric Hayes, apparently you're not aware that most of the forests are federal lands, and right now most of the fires are there. Okay. You are too tired. Let me come get you. I hear you, brother. I hear you. Actually, I'm not tired. I've been working hard yesterday. I did stay up late last night, though. I did stay up late last night. Um, my brother. You know what I love. You know what I love. You're. Oh, but it says my reading is off too. Okay. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Carl Cox. No, Bridge, let me tell you something. If I show you the screen, you'll see what is really happening. What is happening is I get all these messages coming together at the same time, and when they come in, sometimes they flip around each other. And then also I bring the thing up. Norman, I really am okay. I promise you, Norman, I am okay, my brother. I promise you. Daniel Lado says, Eric Hayes, Trotsky. Daniel Lado also says, Maywood decides. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Seems to me like I got me a text from my good friends here. Actually, Egberto, why isn't the left press not covering the protests in Europe on the draconian climate stuff? Oh boy. Let me explain. Um, I am not going to cover, and I don't think anybody should cover false equivalencies. I don't think anybody should cover misinformation, and don't think anybody should cover staged stuff. Okay, I really don't. And by the way, if I skipped anything that any one of you said, please go ahead and repeat it. I wish I had the external camera so that I could show both Bridge and Norman what's going on with my screen, because I think they both think I'm like super tired. I did go to bed at about 1:30 this morning, but I did wake up at 6:30, which gave me a solid 5 hours of sleep. Melanie Keelan says, what protest? All right. E2247 says, independent state legislature theory, ISL, the idea under the Constitution. True. True. Doesn't see Norman at all. I saw Norman. Let me see if Norman is coming out. I think. Let me see, Bridge. Maybe it's just not coming through. I thought I saw Norman once in the feed, but just once. Let's see if I do the feed again. Let's go ahead and search. Let's see what it says here. Para ver, para ver, para ver, para ver. Do a Norman search. I think you're telling me that I missed Norman's message. All right, Norman says, there are no both sides to the fact that the GOP politics include acceptance of fringe ideology and fascism. I think I missed that one. Actually, in scrolling up, I missed that one. Doesn't see Norman at all. Okay, I did see it. I did see it. All right, E2247 says independent state legislatures theory explained. Coral Cox says conservatives believe in corruption, greed, stupidity, gullibility, dictator. Remember some. All right, let's see what else we got here. Lee Grant says we should look to Europe for a glimpse of our future. Let me see. If we're talking about the Scandinavian countries, I wouldn't mind that at all. Their tax rates are not substantially higher than ours, yet they get great health care for it. They have great health. All of their health is better than ours in the United States, so I don't think it would be a bad thing. Okay, there we go. Norman LM on LinkedIn. There you go. Let's see what else we have. Robert Davenport says, Lee Grant, do do you mean do you? I'm doing a live show, guys. Uh, hey, how you doing? Uh, anyhow, I see you now, Norman. I see you now. I see you. I see you. I see you. Daniel Ledo says, Egberto, do you think Ukraine should be admitted to NATO? Uh, I don't know. Let me tell you what happens, okay? It is dangerous. It is dangerous for us to talk about admitting Ukraine to NATO because what NATO promises is that once any country attacks a NATO country, it is like attacking that particular country, which is it's the predicate to World War III, in my opinion. So we have to be careful right there. Norman says he's on LinkedIn. We have to be very careful right there. So I am not sure. I am absolutely not sure. Bridge MCP says, I see you now, Norman. Daniel Ledosa, Egberto, I read that one already. If Facebook doesn't show you on other platforms, Maywood, YouTube does. All right, admit Ukraine to NATO. Okay. Davenport, I am concerned about that one. I am not sure. I'm not sure all the intricacies that putting Ukraine in NATO right now, what it really means. So I mean that is something that we have to be careful with, because again, if we go and accept Ukraine as NATO, then we have to immediately throw Russia out of the Donbass. We have to throw Russia out of also the out of the not Crimea. Is that something that we want to do? I am not sure. Okay, so as it turns out, I think we ought to be cautious before we let Ukraine into that space. So therefore, I am not sure where I stand on that. All right, so let's see. Bridge says admit Ukraine to NATO. Bridge is with you as well. A lot of folks are saying the same thing. Bridge, but not now. There you go. But not now. I got you. Robert Davenport says it will occur. And he also says Putin will not be appeased. I don't think we should appease Putin, but also we have to look at the bigger picture. But again, I can't know this, right? That's above my pay grade. Robert Davenport says you cannot spoon feed the beast. Daniel Lado says admitting Ukraine into NATO means World War III. Punto. It's not punto final. It's punto final. Punto final is final whore. Punto final means the end. Okay? Bridge MCP says, let me just tell him that I'll only be a couple more hours. Not a couple hours. Okay, there we go now. Melanie says, Mike Csack says, Bridge MCP, I found you some reading material that is peer reviewed. It's about hurricanes, fires, floods, and droughts over the last century. All right, take a look at it and see what happens. What's that? Okay, I can't. I asked you for the thing. I'm live on my show, 3 to 4 show. Okay, I'll be out 2 minutes before 4. Yeah. Yeah. 5 before 4. Okay. Uh, Mike, Eric Hayes, NATO count should pay their fair share. Lee Grant, Obama let the Crimea go without a whimper. He sure did. And again, I think one of the concerns with the whimper was exactly that he didn't want to run the risk of World War III. So Lee Grant, I get it. I get it. Carl Cox says GOP supports it. Now, Maywood, Eric Hayes says they are not listening to. No, they're not. Why would they listen to me? Why would they? They should not listen to me. I don't have the intelligence information. I don't have any of that, nor am I qualified to say that. Right? I am not qualified. So, but there are many more people that are more qualified to make that decision than I am. Okay? Many more that are qualified than I am. Anyhow, Congress today approved $13 billion more for Ukraine. It is amazing. We can support Ukraine. We can find $13 billion for Ukraine. We can't find $1 billion to fix the water system in Jackson. We can't find $250 million to fix the water system in Flint, Michigan. But we can find $13 billion for Ukraine. British MCP says, man, Egberto Willis, those peeps really want it. Actually, I'm in a studio that has, this is the main studio, so I got to get out of here 5 minutes early because I didn't realize there was a show after this. But when I was going to do the show out there, I was told to come in here. Okay, Egberto Willis, hovering over you in the background. Paul Philemon says, it is funny that governor of Florida is asking its citizens to think this is it just scrolled on me, to donate to the state after the hurricane when he wasted $12 million in taxpayer fund for a political stunt. It's also a mistake to think that this is a war between Russia and Ukraine and no more. This is a world war, according to Pope Francis. Wow. I hadn't seen that comment from Pope Francis. I had not seen that comment from Pope Francis. So anyhow, folks, look, I'm gonna close this down in 3 minutes because I see a lot of folks outside, and I want to do my part to make sure that this studio continues to work flawlessly. I was told that I could actually come in here; nothing was going to be in the space right now. So what I'm going to do is the following: I am going to shut us down early. And what we will do is we'll continue this discussion on Ask Egberto Anything tomorrow at noon. All right? Here's the deal. We'll just kind of talk a little bit about this, and then we'll move on from there. Thanks, Egberto Willis. It's all good. Bridge MCP, thank you, my friend. So we're going to shut down about 10 minutes early. Here's the deal. Sign up for Ask Egberto anything. Go to politicsandright.com/Ask Egberto. Politicsandright.com/Ask Egberto. We'll do it sharp at 11 Central, 12 noon. Again, that is 11 Central, 12 noon. And then we'll get busy talking, guys. Look, the discussion was great. One of the reasons I love what you guys do is because you keep it fresh. You make sure that we get what needs to get discussed. And here's the biggest part. When this goes into podcast form, the thousands of folks that are going to see it, you would have made the difference by asking those questions, by making those statements. So you know how I end this baby, man. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you know how we go. I am what? Out. Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILL